What's up, guys? Today we're talking about positioning, and we'll also be looking at some one above all gameplay and breaking down their positioning. Before we get into that, I want to go over the basics of positioning. I'm sure you've heard it before, but cover and high ground give you a strong position. Cover gives you a safety net and blocks enemy fire, and height gives you better sightlines and forces enemies to work harder to hit you. Another key element to positioning is escape routes. You should always have a way out if a fight turns bad, and you need to think about what that escape route is before you move into a position. Now, positioning looks different on every role and every hero. We won't get into it too much, but tanks are meant to take, make, and hold space, and dive tanks are going to position themselves differently than main tanks, but the goal is the same: to take, make, and hold space. And then DPS generally play behind tanks, unless you're playing a dive type character. It's important to find off angles and capitalize on enemy mistakes, and your job is to deal damage, not take it, unless you're Mr. Fantastic. For supports, you want to stay close enough to heal, but far enough to avoid being the first target. Use cover and reposition constantly. Now, game sense goes hand in hand with positioning. Game sense is essentially your awareness, timing, and adaptability. Awareness of where your team is and where your enemies are helps you know where to position, and then understanding when to engage, rotate, or fall back is a difference maker in every match. And finally, adapting to different enemy team comps and strategies can completely change every engagement and how you position yourself. So how does game sense improve positioning? If you can predict where enemies will go, or where they will be defending or attacking, you can position yourself in a way that gives you the advantage before the fight starts. Knowing when to leave a position is just as important as knowing where to hold. Good game sense helps you identify the right moment to move. If your team has the numbers advantage, push forward. If you're outnumbered, reposition. Positioning is about when to take space, not just where to stand. If you know the enemy has a certain ultimate and you think they're about to use it, you'll need to position yourself accordingly to either counter that ultimate or put pressure on them to either take them out or force the ultimate. Now, how do we develop this game sense to improve our positioning? First and foremost, you need to analyze your mistakes. If you die, ask yourself, was I out of position? Should I have rotated sooner? Always think about what you could have done better and look at your replays to see where things go south. Another great way is to watch high-level play. Watching top players position themselves and their decision making is one of the best ways to improve, and that's exactly what we're about to do. Alright, so I wanted to show a good example of positioning as a team. Right off the bat, you'll notice that the blue team is holding high ground, and the reason for that, if the red team was to push this way, then the blue team has perfect line of sight, perfect high ground of that push. It makes that push a lot harder. And if they were to push this way, then they can easily drop from high ground. They'll be able to see as soon as they pass this corner, okay, us tanks, we can drop down and we can hold this line right here. While our supports maintain height, the DPS can maintain height as well. And this just gives you options. It's also a kind of common strategy for Strange to portal to high ground. And what this does is it blocks that off as well. And this is just me assuming the reasoning for this. It makes sense in my mind. If there's something I'm missing, let me know down in the comments. You'll notice here, we'll play it out. As soon as they get to that corner, they see that they're pushing this way. So the tanks are going to drop down. They're going to try and hold that line, while the supports and the DPS are maintaining height. Black Panther's in their back line. He got one of them really low. That created a little bit of pressure, so they're able to hold this line a little bit better. And then Black Panther, he's still looking for that back line. He's able to get a pick, and look what they do off that pick. They push. They're all aggressive off that pick. And what the red team does here is really good as well. They go down 2 people, so they get to this corner. They get to their safe zone. They try to regroup. Staggering is one of the biggest things in lower ranks, and they just limited their staggering by backing up to this corner, playing their life. So now their Invisible Woman, it's back, and then their Strange is almost there. So they're going to start to push up here in a second. And the blue team, they're just trying to hold this line, and the red team, they're trying to break that line. Lunas knows about the ult here in a second, and that's going to create a lot of space for the red team. They're able to push off of that, and then from there it's just an ultimate battle pretty much. But we saw good examples from both teams, initially holding ground as the blue team, and then the red team, once they got picked, they didn't stagger, they regrouped, and then they were able to set up a better push. All right, so the red team, they're going to get this first checkpoint. And I like to look at this as far as when I'm pushing, I like to look at this as a line. Actually, I guess if you're defending as well. If the red team takes that line, it's going to cause pressure to send the blue team back. So if you can hold this line, that's really important. Holding this corner is generally what you want to do as the blue team. And if you're the red team, you're going to want to take as much space as possible. Some ways to do that is you can go around this statue, take this space here, or you can just walk up this and take peeks from here. You can get high ground up here to get an angle over here. Be creative with it. If you're able to break that line, if you can get into this doorway, you have options to get high ground in this room, in this building. And we'll look at exactly what the red team does here. You'll notice as soon as they capture, they're looking to take space. They're coming out of the door swinging. They're ready. They're walking up, taking space. And like I said before, this space, it isn't occupied right now. The blue team, they're going to be holding this side because that's the way the cart's going. So what the Magneto can do is he can go around the statue, take that space. He has a shield. He can play in the open a little bit. And then as he does that, the Strange can walk up at the same time. So now they have pressure in two directions. The blue team has to worry about the Magneto over here, and they have to worry about this as well. It's causing pressure. It's exactly what they do. They walk up, take all that space. And then I like to look at pushing the objective in stages. So this was kind of like, okay, this is the first obstacle, or the first point we want to take control of. Once the cart's here, what's the next one? It's going to be this corner, right? Once you get it past that corner, it's another straightaway. Once they get the cart to here, it's a straightaway here. And then you have that corner to get over, then it's another straightaway. And just think of it in steps, essentially. Because the defending team, they have these corners to play cover, right? Right here is another corner. That's their cover. And once the red team breaks those corners, they have more line of sight. The defending team doesn't have as much cover, doesn't have as much to work with, right? So if you can take control of those corners, it allows you to be more aggressive and push. So they have all this space, trying to get the cart up the hill, take that space. And you'll notice here, Psylocke does a really good flank. Goes in from high ground, goes for the back line, goes for the squishies, while the tanks are up front line. And she gets those kills, and that just completely opens the fight. And not opens it, wins it. And you'll notice right after that, the tanks are taking the space. They're walking up while they have 3 on cart, 3 going in to take space. And as soon as that blue team's here, go to cover. Strange is on cover. Peeks out, goes cover. They almost get the checkpoint. And then from here, it's pretty much who can win the ultimate battle. So as soon as they win that fight, they're looking to take space. They're keeping the pressure on them. Just being relentless. And they have 1 person on cart, 1 healer, while the other healer's up with the rest of the team. Alright, I want to show a good example of support positioning. And I thought this was a good example. So, red team is pushing, blue team's defending. And notice what she's doing right here. She's playing a head glitch. If you don't know what that is, it's essentially just your head's peeking out from the enemy's point of view. So most of your body is covered, but you're still able to shoot. I'll show you what it looks like from their point of view, because it's really, really hard to deal with. And that's what you want to do with positioning. You want to make your enemy's life hard. Jiggling in and out of cover. She's not standing out in the open, not taking any free damage, playing cover where there is cover. She's still able to support her team, still able to heal, and she's limiting the amount of damage she could be taking, right? And then as the red team pushes up, they're taking space with this cloak and dagger ult, so she's backing up, where she still has line of sight of her team. And then her cloak ults. She notices her cloak ults, so she starts to move up, but as soon as that Magneto ults, she backs up. It's all about adapting. she realized, okay, we have the advantage with this Cloak and Dagger ult, but oh wait, Magneto's ulting, I'm going to back up. Even though he's most likely going for the Cloak and Dagger, right? You just don't want that risk. Limit your risks if you can. So she breaks that line of sight, and she's looking to help her team. Healing, giving him a shield, doing whatever she can do. And then they have that Cloak and Dagger ult, so she knows she can move up. It's about to go away. But she's playing close to cover, she's playing close to this payload. So if things go wrong, she can back up a little bit, back up to the corner if she needs. Psylocke ults, so she ults, saves her team. And that was all because of good positioning, right? It stemmed from playing this head glitch, playing cover, backing up when the red team was pushing up. And then the more they pushed up, the more space they took. She went back to where it was safer, and she was just available for her team. Didn't take any risks. That's going to do it for this one. Hopefully this was helpful. If you guys want to see more videos like this, let me know down in the comments. And as always, with great power comes great responsibility, and yours is to hit that like and subscribe. See you guys in the next one.